Was big for the defense. The first shutout for the Seahawks since the 2015 win by the same score over the Chicago Bears.
No, it was great, man. You did what you were supposed to do, man, against rookie quarterback. One of my keys to the game was just make him look like a rookie, and he did exactly that. And Kevin O'Connell, Brian Walsh just mentioned this during our postgame show, put Rosemary in a horrible position. It's fourth down. Just take the points. Take the points. Don't make your rookie quarterback have to decipher what to do with the football. That's where the pick six came in, 85 yards to the house. The first touchdown by Ernest Jones in his whole career. But, yeah, man, it was you did what you were supposed to do. This game was weird because it wasn't the dominant game that we thought it could be, but it was at the same time because your defense was dominant.
Yeah.
Right? And we knew Brian Flores was going to blitz the heck out of Sam Darnold, and he did exactly that. They showed 7-man pressure, 6-man pressure almost every single down. Now, whether they executed it or not, right, they would drop guys or whatnot into coverage, but they made this offensive line have to figure some stuff out.
Okay, so I do have a question for you from that. Are we concerned about the offensive line? Because I left this game going, maybe it's because I'm still eating leftovers and I just had a great weekend with my family and the Seahawks won and it was a shutout that I'm not really panicked. And yet, if you take a closer look, this offensive line in the first half, pass pro was struggling, man. They were getting worked.
It's hard, man. I think this is going to be the recipe, I think. If you want to rattle the Seahawks, you have to show pressure, right? Because when you show pressure, it's simple math. You got 5 offensive linemen. You have 1 running back. That's 6. All right? So if you show a 6 or 7-man pressure to start, you force the offensive line to try to figure some things out. You bring the running back into play when it comes to pass pro, and you're liable to mix things up. What I appreciate about what the Vikings did too did as well is that they would show pressure opposite of the tight end side. So you max pro. Max pro is when you leave your tight ends in to help protect. So let's say you have 5 offensive linemen, you have 2 tight ends. That's 7. Stacey, simple math. I know you went to UW. It's hard.
Okay.
But you show you have 7, so you can block 7. But there are times where the Hawks will overload one side, 2 tight ends to the left side, and the Vikings would show pressure to the other side, right? So now it's a numbers game. You got 4 guys to the right side. You can only bring block 3. It was just a numbers game that Brian Flores played that forces the offensive line to communicate and make decisions so quickly it jacked them up.
I will say I don't think you could leave that game. Like, let's say that you didn't watch any of it. You'd be like, oh, once again, Sam Darnold struggling against the blitz. It was almost like Sam Darnold had nothing. I'm thinking of the first 2 drives in particular. The first one ends with a sack. The second one, he's like running away and has to throw it away.
Yeah.
There were no options for Sam. Sam didn't panic. Sam, importantly, did not throw an interception.
Key. He took the sacks.
Yeah.
I forgot who said it on our post-game show. You guys should listen to our post-game show. Our guys, Big Ray, Paul Moyer, Brian Walters, all hit us with some good stuff. They said he took the sack. And that's what happened against the Rams is that he wasn't willing to take the sack sometimes. It was like, I have to get the football out of my hands. Let's just not take the sack. But sometimes a sack is good enough, especially when your defense is playing the way that they were playing. You have to think to yourself as a quarterback, it's all right, man, if I take a sack right here because my defense has my back. So, yeah, man, it's we knew this was going to happen. Brian Flores sent out the alert and said, we will blitz Sam, and that's their MO. They did exactly that, and the Hawks did enough to win.
I have at least 3 people asking about Anthony Bradford saying, you're telling me there's no one else. And I don't mean to disrespect Anthony Bradford. What I am saying is that not every single team has 5 All-Pros starting on their offensive line. In fact, no team does. And sometimes the guy you have is starting because he happens to be the most athletic or the strongest or the most physically able. And that's what I've always assumed when you and Ray and any of the other guys have talked about, like, why is Anthony Bradford out there? I feel like what I hear from you guys is because he's capable. Just it doesn't mean he's always executing it perfectly, but he's capable.
Anthony Bradford, when he is on point, he's one of the best guards in the division. When he gets hands on guys, he's on point. But there are some times where you scratch your head and you think, all right, well, why is he still in the game? He's not a horrible guard when he's on point, but when he's not on point, it doesn't look very good.
I would say it looks very bad.
Yeah, it looks bad. But we're not the coaches. So if the coaches are still willing to put him out there and to play him, that means that during the week he's doing fine. That means that when he's playing good football, he's doing fine. It's just when there are only 2 positions in the football field to where you mess up, it is just blatant. People see it. It's O-line and DB. You make mistakes at those positions, everyone sees it. They're gonna highlight you. It is what it is. You can run the wrong route as a receiver and be just fine, and no one's gonna know that you ran the wrong route, right? Some people will sniff it out. But the fact that they keep running him out there means that he's their best option.
Yeah.
And you might not agree with it. You might not like the evaluation, but do you trust Mike McDonald?
Yes.
All right, then. So if they keep trotting him out there, he has to be the best option.
That's something I tell myself, too, is I'm like, there's no way that I'm looking at this offensive line going, I don't know, Mike, hear me out. This is what I think you should do.
Jaxon Smith-Njigba, 4 targets, 2 receptions, 23 yards. This is significant because the Hawks showed that they can win a football game in a different way. The Hawks have leaned on JSN offensively all year. Good for him. Best receiver in the game. Only had 23 yards. Still the leading receiver in the National Football League. But I think it was important to show, like, look, we can win other ways. If we can't get Jason the ball, you know what? We're still going to run it for $125 collectively. A.J. Barner can have 4 receptions. Cooper Kupp had 3 of his own. It was I would prefer to see Jason go off because now I think that he's not going to break the record when it comes to receiving yards in a single season. That's a lot to ask for.
125.
It's a lot.
I could get 125 in a game.
125 what? But it's tough, man. And I wish that Jason would have gone off like he usually has.
Yeah.
But I think that it's important to find different ways to get victories, especially over a rookie quarterback.
I have 2 follow-ups. Number 1, did the Vikings do something that other teams could replicate enough to keep JSN, like keep a lid on that offense?
It was more just putting pressure on the quarterback.
Okay.
So Sam Darnold had to get the football out of his hands early and quickly. No, I mean, every team is going to give Jason the attention he deserves. The safety's going to be spying him, keep an eye on him. But end of the day, you got to go with your rules when it comes to coverage. But, yeah, Hawks found a different way to win a ball game.
Okay, number 2, did taking JSN out of the game make you aware or maybe hyper aware, I should say, of maybe the lack of weaponry they have?
No, because I think that teams aren't going to blitz the quarterback as much as the Vikings do.
Yeah.
Like 45% of the time, they're sending pressure. That was before this game. It seemed like every snap they were sending some type of pressure. So, no, I think that's a personality type of thing. And other defensive coordinators don't have the same personality as Brian Flores.
All right, my turn, and I'm sticking with the offense for this one. And probably sticking with, frankly, talking about the Vikings' pressure. Anthony Bradford, unfortunately, caught my eye. We've talked about it plenty today, but I'm sorry. I wrote it down multiple times on the play sheet, so I wanted to be able to get to it for what caught my eye. And that's most especially what I'm assuming is Anthony Bradford's fault. 2nd and 8 from the 8-yard line. A Charbonnet handoff ends up being a tackle for a loss of 2 by Eric Wilson. I'm guessing that Anthony Bradford was supposed to be there. Maybe, maybe not, but he looked... Anytime a guard doesn't touch anyone, I think he was supposed to touch someone here. I don't think that there's a play in the playbook where Anthony Bradford is not touching a single person. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that's on him. And while mistakes will happen, I'm sitting here lamenting about should people be concerned about a lack of offensive touchdowns in this game? I genuinely think another touchdown can be scored on this drive. They're from the 8-yard line. They end up settling for a field goal in part because of that tackle for loss. Now you're looking at 3rd and 10.
Yeah, I know the player you're talking about.
Yeah.
He was pulling, right? Started off on the right side, was pulling to the left. And I don't know what he was looking at, but he didn't get his guy. Yeah. And those are the type of plays that stand out, that make people question what 75 is doing and if he should be out there. But I'll reiterate, at this point of the season, 2.5 years in or a year and a half in, we trust Mike McDonald, right? So if Anthony Bradford is still out there, that means that he's their best option. As bad as it looks at times, he's their best option. So I'll say it again. Anthony, don't listen to me. Don't listen to Stacy. Don't listen to Curtis.
I think you could listen to me.
Probably listen to Matthew. He doesn't really care about stuff like that. But just keep doing what you're doing and strive to get better every single week.
What's next?
Hey, when are we going to get this man the ball? Like, for real?
Cody?
No.
Ken?
No.
AJ?
No. Come on.
Elijah?
When are we going to get this man the ball? No. Come on, Stacy.
Okay, so it's not a tight end.
No.
And we talked about Charbonnet, Ken Walker, Holani's on IR.
Exactly.
Miles Gaskin.
The fact that you're not even thinking about him is crazy. Because it feels like offensively they're not really thinking about him.
Rashid.
Yes.
Yes.
Get this man the dang ball. He's got 4 receptions as a Seahawk.
That's
he has
crazy.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches when it comes to running the football as a Seahawk. We got to find a way to get this man the ball. Now, I understand that against the Vikings, it's a bit tougher because they're blitzing and all that good stuff, but I was hoping that he would help this team take the next step, and maybe he will eventually. But we are how many games in? 4 games in since he's been a Seahawk.
I'm doing the math.
He's got, against the Cardinals, 1 reception for 3 yards. Against the Rams, 2 receptions for 27. No receptions against the Titans, and 1 for 7 yards against the Minnesota Vikings. We just got to find ways to get him the football.
So I can look at this game and I can go, okay, pass pro, especially in the first half, was really struggling. I can accept, like, Sam Darnold was sacked 4 times. They had under 100 I think they had under 70 or under 80 passing yards. Like, okay, sure, they weren't going to get Shaheed involved. They couldn't even get JSN involved. I can't accept 4 weeks of that. That's strange. Why is that happening?
I don't know. I mean, this last week, I think it's just the pressure. But I don't know. You just got to find ways to get this man the football. And I'm sure Kubiak is trying to dial it up. And I think this week might kind of push him in that direction because you weren't able to get Jason the football. So, all right, how do we become explosive against the blitz? I don't know, man. The easy way to force it is just throw screens his way, which I think we saw one of them last or on Sunday. But dial it up, man.
Yeah.
Find a way. Deuce need to get loose.
Next up, Nick Kallerup's blocking on Charbonnet's 17-yard touchdown run. I just think one of those guys that, like, most people aren't talking about in general. And you mentioned, like, there was a mistake earlier where you're like, is that on Kallerup? Is it on someone else? Like, I can't really tell. But, yeah, I just think I feel like what catches my eye on any touchdown run is almost always, okay, well, who is in blocking? Who is, especially if it's kind of a thankless thing. Well, actually, no, I take that back. Especially if it's a quarterback, because that's cool. Or a wide receiver, because it's cool. But shout out to Nick for that one, too.
Yeah, we interviewed Nick, right, on the huddle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good dude. He's he does the dirty work. He's a dirty work tight end. He's not going to have many receptions. Maybe he has 1 or 2 this year that I can remember. He's going to be instrumental, especially if teams are going to attack the Seahawks the way that the Vikings have. Your tight ends have to be able to sort some things out. And I felt like on Sunday they struggled a bit. Everyone on the line struggled a bit, but the tight ends struggled a bit trying to sort some things out. It's so hard when the defense is showing you one thing, and then as soon as the ball is snapped, they drop out and get into something else. Sam Darnold, the last 2 weeks, he hasn't played his best, and I think that is concerning for a lot of people, and I understand that. But I also think that or know that the best players in the game never play their best every single week. And you got to do just enough to win the ball game. And I think that's what he did, just enough to win the ball game. I think Sam is the type of player that's going to need a defense to play well, that's going to need special teams to do their thing, and he'll win you a couple of ball games. But I understand people's concern when it comes to Sam Darnold and the way he looked against heavy pressure. But look, he didn't turn the football over. And when we signed Sam Darnold, I said he's the type of quarterback that just can't lose you the game. He's going to have some performances where he looks great, and we've seen that so far this year. But his job is just to not lose the game. With this defense that they have over there, who is arguably the best in the game, I know statistically there are some defenses that are better than them, but when it comes to this personnel, they are one of the best in the game. You know what's crazy is that overall, they're not even top 5. They're right out of 5, sitting at 6 when it comes to just
for like yards and stuff like that. I know.
But it's like, you look at this defense, top 2 or 3 in the game right now.
Yes, if you were to actually watch it.
Yeah. So, Sam Darnold, I'm not concerned, but he's going to need to pick it up next week and show people that he's capable of continuing his play.
Let's stick with this one for a little bit longer. The 509, guys, let's not sugarcoat it. Sam Darnold hasn't played well for 4 weeks now. Genuinely, during the game, I was thinking, okay, when's the last game when I can remember Sam Darnold bawling out? And I thought, was it Washington? Which was a phenomenal game, but I thought, was that the last time that I really remember thinking, like, oh my God, like he's cooking right now? And I think it is.
It is.
Now, you're not going to have, I'm not expecting that Sam Darnold, you're paying him 30-something million per year. Like, you're not paying him to be one of the best quarterbacks in football. Why would I expect that he's going to look like an MVP every single week? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't match up with the expectations that anyone seems to have for him. So I can accept that and be fine with it, but I think that not all of these games are created equally. Sam struggled against the Rams, and a lot of that was on Sam. Sam on paper struggled against the Vikings. I don't think a lot of that was on Sam. So that's an example of 2 games where you have Darnold. He fumbled twice, lost one of them against the Vikings. He got blitzed. The Vikings brought the heat. But, there are a couple plays. Look at how the first 2 drives ended. What's Sam supposed to do? What is Sam supposed to do on either of those plays? There is an unblocked rusher on both of those plays.
Yeah, I think that's important to point out. I think that the average NFL fan doesn't understand pass pro. Right?
Not like me.
Not like you. Not like Ball or Stacy.
Definitely no pass pro.
They don't. I mean, but you do to some extent because you pointed out it was an unblocked guy. You can only block so many guys, right? If they're going to bring 7, it's going to be tough. If they're going to bring 6, it still might be tough. But yeah, it's Sam Darnold did fumble the football, but a lot of the mishaps this week were simply because they brought more than they could block, and you're not going to see that every single week.